I recently earned my first $216.33 sharing my opinion on FocusGroup.com. Since people are always asking me about easy side hustles, I wanted to share this FocusGroup.com review to share how it all works. In this video, I'm breaking down my experience with Focus Group, how to maximize your FocusGroup.com earnings and avoid wasting your time, and some alternatives to consider that are going to be worth checking out as well. First up, a lot of people ask, is FocusGroup.com legit? Yes, I can say firsthand that they are. The company is part of Sego, which has been in the market research business for over 50 years. Sego is formerly known as the Schlesinger Group, and they operate in 16 offices around the United States and 10 more in other parts of the country. Now, let me show you what Focus Group looks like from the inside, because there's a really broad range of earning power here, like from below minimum wage, stuff you probably don't want to touch, up to $150 an hour. All right, so once you create your Focus Group account, you're going to access a screen that looks like this. And just for the sake of disclosure, they do ask you for a ton of stuff when you're creating your account. And that's just not to steal your identity or anything. It's just to better match you to relevant studies. So be prepared for that. I'll put my direct referral link for Focus Group in the description below so you can get signed up. Once you're logged in, you'll see these different survey tabs. There's online surveys, interviews, and focus groups, and other study offers. And you'll notice that, frustratingly so, they say, we're going to pay you in points. Well, okay, great. How much is a point worth? It takes 100 points to make $1. Every point is worth a penny. And so that's where you start to do some mental calculus on, well, okay, so wait a minute. Okay, so if I'm going to earn 500 points, that's the equivalent of $5. It's going to take me 20 minutes to do this, or they estimate it's going to take me 20 minutes to complete. And so that's an equivalent hourly rate of $15 an hour, right? If I could do 3 of these in an hour, I would make 1,500 points, $15. But you'll see some of them pay half that, $7.50 an hour. Some of them pay, there was one that was even less. Okay, where was it? Okay, well, this one is an example. It pays almost 500 points. And it's only going to take 5 minutes. Like, all things being equal, I'm going to take this survey instead, because this is going to pay close to $60 an hour, or almost 3 times better. So when you pull up the survey buttons, it is going to either ask you for some pre-qualification questions, or it's going to let you jump right in. And sometimes it's going to say, sorry, you don't qualify, which is like, why did you tell me that I would qualify? And so in this case, it looks like it's just asking some screener questions before unlocking the additional survey. Screener questions are unpaid, and so you may or may not find yourself answering a few of those before you get to one that actually is paid. But I would absolutely focus my time on the ones with the strongest hourly rates. 43 points for 23 minutes. No, thank you. 43 cents times, not worth it. So next tab is the interviews and focus groups tab, which I don't think I have any available in here, but we'll wait and see if anything pulls up. So if you don't have any matches at this time, like I don't, you don't have to stress about that, because you'll be on the receiving end of email invitations from FocusGroup.com and from Sego. And there's a couple different types of emails. I'll see if I can bring them up on the screen. The first is, hey, we're going to pay you 200 points for this study that's going to take 20 minutes. And I'm like, okay, that's not a great hourly rate. So I tend to ignore those. That's like $6 an hour, right? $2, if I could do 3 of them, like, just not even worth it. But the second kind of email that you'll get, they typically come from Sego, S-A-G-O, and the subject line usually begins with "you're invited." And these ones will say, hey, we're going to pay you $100 for this hour-long study. We're going to pay you $150 for this hour-long study. These are the ones that I'm paying closer attention to. And sometimes they'll be in person, sometimes they'll be online. So pay attention to that, and you can apply for each of those. And then finally, the third tab over here is other study offers. These are pretty much the same as the online survey tab. I'm not sure really what the difference is, but you can see mostly pretty low paying stuff. Maybe these ones that are, in the 5-minute range, if you're super bored, might be worthwhile. It's funny how all of them say recommended, like literally every single one is recommended, but that's what's going on those tabs. Really want to focus our attention on these interviews and focus groups for our highest earning power here. I want to show you the focus group wallet really quick. Because this is how, and they, even after you're logged in, they make you enter your password again for some reason. So the interface could definitely use some work. As you can see, here's my 2 studies that I've completed so far. One was $115 and the other was $100, and I earned 100 points for doing some silly, one of those online surveys. And they only let you redeem in 100 point increments. So that's why I have $33 left over. You can redeem for a bunch of different gift cards. I'd always just choose Amazon because that's where I know I'm going to spend it. So I don't have to worry about like remembering to pull out a Best Buy card or something if I'm over there. They do allow a Visa gift card that they can send to you or a virtual Visa. Unfortunately, no direct deposit, no PayPal, no Venmo at this time. So know what you're getting into. If you're going to be able to spend these gift cards, then I think it's worthwhile. If not, then you will find some other side hustle that does pay in cash. So going back to these studies, the first one was, I was kind of surprised by this. It was actually an online, survey. It was like, 45 minutes worth of questions for $115. Like, yeah, that's a pretty strong hourly rate. I'm happy to, was like, here, watch these videos for some ads that we were thinking about running and give us your feedback on those. Like, hey, that was pretty cool. And the second one, both of these are kind of on non-disclosure, and that's why I'm being professionally vague. But the second one was an online focus group. So everybody kind of got onto their, Zoom style interface, and we talked about credit cards for an hour. And I thought it was kind of fun. I was like, shoot. But the downside was it took several weeks. So I think this one was done at the beginning of October. So it took almost a month for this to hit the account. And now the reward is still processing. So know that you're not going to get paid right away. You will get paid because it's not a scam, but it just took some time. And that made me kind of nervous because like, hey, did you forget about me? I couldn't even see any mention of it in my account. And so it made me a little bit nervous, but eventually it did hit. And same thing with this one. It eventually, kicked out of processing and into paid. So I'm confident that this one will as well. Now, if you like the idea of getting paid for your opinion, I've got a whole video on different ways to do that, starting with some super easy options and ranging all the way up to some more advanced and more lucrative ideas. But in the meantime, let me share 3 other market research services you should sign up for. Those are Respondent, User Interviews, and Rare Patient Voice. I'll include direct referral links to all 3 in the description below. Now, Respondent and User Interviews are more geared toward industry professionals, but you will see some general population studies pop up, and they pay pretty well. It's just tough to get selected for those. With Rare Patient Voice, it's primarily for patients and caregivers, and even says right in the header, also non-rare. So even if you don't suffer from some rare condition, it's worth checking out because their studies pay $120 an hour. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more money-making ideas. Cheers.